The coronavirus pandemic has brought the world of athletics to a standstill, with major events around the world canceled or postponed. But has this stopped the fight against doping? CGTN's Saddique Shaban has more on this.
Many thanks, Richard. Now, major road races around the world, from London Marathon to Boston Marathon to Berlin Marathon, have all taken a hit from the coronavirus and COVID-19. A number of global competitions too, including the World Indoor Championship that was scheduled for Nanjing, China in March, as well as the Olympic Games in Japan 2020, have all now been postponed to 2021. Now, for more of this, I'm pleased to get more perspective from the President of World Athletics, Lord Seb Coe, who now joins me live via web link from London. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Welcome to the show, and good to see you.
Thank you. It's very good to be here with you.
Now, Mr. President, the organization has rolled out relief packages for a number of athletes, around the world at this time. What other measures are being contemplated to help the sport, go through this pandemic at this time?
Well, there's a lot we're doing as a sport. We're working very closely with our member federations, understanding the challenges, trying to get competition back for the athletes, which is really important. They need that now, and they will need it in the lead up to the games. And all these things are being addressed, and we have been finding new dates and new scheduling for our events. And of course, we have created the Welfare Fund. We're not a wealthy sport. We don't have the size of bank account that football has, but we felt it was important to be able to create a fund so that we can help in modest ways our athletes, many, maybe even your athletes, that have suffered really because of the lack of competition and the loss of prize money.
Mr. President, in your opinion, how much are we looking at here in terms of how much the sport has been hit by the coronavirus?
Well, the sport has been hit hard, and there's no question about that. We're managing our financial affairs very carefully because we manage, grant funding, which we distribute to our member federations to help develop and grow the sport. The fund itself is growing at the moment. We found $500,000 with the support of the foundation, which is our charitable arm. I'm hoping that through donations we can raise more. And the working group that I've appointed to oversee the fund, the delivery and the transparent and safe delivery of the fund, is also working on the criteria. And we need to really identify those athletes most in need, and we're not here to just replace lost prize money, because many athletes also have support from federations, they have support from national Olympic committees, they have sponsors. We want to make sure that we are really targeting those athletes that have none of that and who are really finding it very difficult to survive. This is about survival more than it is about replacing lost prize money.
Now, Mr. President, the Athletics Integrity Unit has not taken a break for its mandate to stamp out doping at this time. Are they making significant progress, do you think, during this time when there's no competition?
It's more complicated than it was before the pandemic. The Athletic Integrity Unit was routinely testing in over 100 countries with missions and programs. Clearly, the inability to fly in and out of countries where borders are closed and airline restrictions, this from Kenya, is complicated. We had challenges, but it is still testing, it is still operating, it is still monitoring. And my message to the athletes is be part of our sport, don't step aside from it, because you would be foolhardy in thinking that there is no testing going on at the moment. There is testing going on, both at global and national level.
Mr. President, we've seen during this time that a number of anti-doping rule violations involving particularly whereabouts failures and athlete biological passport. These infringements are now being announced by the Athletics Integrity Unit, if you will. Does this trend worry the World Athletics?
Nothing that the Athletic Integrity Unit worries me. It's what it's doing that is positive in making sure that we control the sport, we uphold the highest levels of integrity, particularly in anti-doping, and that we are there to protect the clean athletes. And the first priority is to make sure that those clean athletes can train and can compete and do so without fear that they're being beaten by drug cheats.
Mr. President, generally, nobody knows at this point how long this crisis will last. There are a lot of unknowns at this time. But what will the world of athletics need to do, in your opinion, to recover from the coronavirus pandemic and the COVID-19 situation?
It'll have to do what every sport has to do, and that is it's got to think about the future. It's got to think about how it can get their competitors back into competition as quickly as possible, how we can get the Diamond Leagues and the Continental Tours. And sadly, one of the Continental Tours, of course, was going to be in Nairobi, where you have a passion for athletics. We need to get our championships back up and running, and we also need to make sure that we are also giving some thinking space to what our sport looks like in 5 years, in 10 years' time. The organizations that come through this pandemic and come through strongly are those organizations that are not just thinking about what they're doing hour by hour, but they're giving some time to think strategically what their sports will look like in 4, 5, 10 years' time.
Mr. Seb Coe, the President of World Athletics, many thanks indeed, sir, for your time and for joining us on this program. Thank you very much indeed.
I'm very grateful, and to all your viewers, please stay safe.
Many thanks indeed, sir. Thank you very much.